Hey everyone, thanks for joining us for our podcast today. We are so excited because tonight is officially the night. It is finally album release day. If you just can't wait for tonight, though, you are welcome to go to whatever your streaming services that you listen to your music to, and you can download our album right now. You don't even have to wait for tonight. But today we're going to talk about a couple more songs on our album. We're going to talk about God of Miracles and also on the edge of revival. So stay with us.
Your love's an all-consuming fire. Burn within me, your heart's desire. Your love's a never-ending.
All right, everyone, we're back and we're going to get started. Tommy's going to start us off today talking about On the Edge of Revival and how that song came about.
All right. Well, this song is really the heart of our church. We've been talking about revival the whole time that I've been here. It's kind of been a theme throughout the spirit life of this church. Our pastor has been teaching and preaching about revival for the longest time. And I feel like there's a lot of times that we get so close and we can feel God moving and we know that things are happening and people are getting touched. And but it just feels like it's all fixing to break out. But then something happens, or it kind of dies off a little bit. And I feel like we've been on the edge so long, it's got to break through sometime. And that's where this song came from. I feel like we were on the edge of revival. I feel like we still are. I mean, it's happening. Things are happening. People are getting saved, and lives are being changed. And this song is just putting that into words for me, because I felt like we've been waiting for so long that we just we needed something to push us over, and I was hoping that this song would help do that.
I love the song so much too because of the lyrics. Sometimes I feel like you can be so focused on the act of something. I won't even say the act of something, but sometimes you can get so focused on like I love Natalie Grant's song, help me want the healer more than the healing. I feel like sometimes we can get so focused on things, but I love the part that you wrote in there that says, no lyrics on the screen, no dance. It's basically the only thing that I need is Jesus.
Yeah.
And I love that because that's so true because that is how you get true revival. Just focusing on Jesus. And so I love that part of that song.
That's right, and I did too, and that's why it's there.
Yep.
There was another part in the song where it talks about going up to the mountain, and Pastor preached a sermon on this a long time ago, but I'll never forget. He was talking about how the children of Israel were out, at Mount Sinai, and God was wanting them all to come up on the mountain and worship, and they wouldn't go. They were scared. And by the time that they got close to the mountain, they wouldn't go up, and then the cloud lifted, because Moses was the only one that would go up. And I feel like we miss it as a church sometimes because we're scared to enter in. And there's a lot of different reasons that we may not feel comfortable, or we may get spooked by something.
Yeah.
We may just not be in the right mindset to do it. And I think a lot of times that holds us back from really going in and worshiping the way that God wants us to.
And how did that come about though? I mean, honestly, because I know that we listen to you. You brought the song to us, and we listen to you do the song, and kind of give our input on very little in this song because you pretty much had this song ready. But how? Like, was it just something you pieced together over time, or did it come fast to you?
I actually had just the thought, the edge of revival. I told you last time, it
Yeah.
comes to me in little phrases.
Yeah.
And sometimes if it's two or three words that really catch your attention, I'll jot it down in my phone, in my notepad, and I've got a lot of those. And there was I don't remember if I heard somebody say it or if it was just a passing thought or what, but I was like, that means something. So I jotted it down in my notepad. And when we were talking about, picking out songs to record, um, not that we needed more songs, we had enough songs, but I thought, well, I'm just going to see what happens with this just to give another option. And turns out that the anointing was there to do it now.
Absolutely.
It was the right time. So
That's right.
that's why the song came to be.
And I love the words in the bridge to this song. Much like some of the Pour It Out song, it has declaration in it.
Yep.
Because it's we declare and we decree.
Yeah, absolutely.
We are speaking it out that these revival fires are going to fall on our church. So I love that. It's simple, but it's a declaration.
It's powerful.
And we're calling it out.
That's right.
And that's what we're speaking over our church. So that's just my favorite part of the song personally. I love that.
Absolutely.
And just one more thing on songwriting, there's a lot of different ways to communicate, but as a worship team and a worship leader, a lot of times we're putting words into people's mouths, and we are, and you have to really, really guard what you say. You really have to guard what you have the congregation sing along to.
Absolutely.
And I know I get a lot of hard time from Kendall over here because she'll send me a song, and I'm like, that ain't the right song, But and not one that we've written, just not the right song for our church. But it really matters what you say and how you piece together your words, and especially when you're bringing them before God and you've got the people of God singing along to them. I think time to segue into the next song.
Go for it, Kendall. You can share about your song that you brought to us, which is one of my personal.
I have got to say that only because of the way that this song came about, I would have to say it's my favorite as well. Because I feel like, and I know this is going to sound funny to some people, but I feel like I really didn't have a lot to do with this song. In saying that, I'll tell you why. I'll never forget it. It's been one of the most profound, powerful experiences that I've ever had with the Lord. And it was the night that Ben gave his testimony. At a worship night, our drummer gave his testimony in front of the church, and I in the moment, you hear a testimony, it makes you cry. You're like, man, the Lord is awesome.
Yeah.
What He brought him from. But I really didn't think any more, much else about it. And I'll never forget.
Let me elaborate on
Absolutely.
that. Our drummer Ben, he was scared to death because he's not a outspoken
Absolutely.
person, and I asked him if he would be willing to share his testimony, and he said yes. He said, but I'm not going to promise it's going to be good. You know how humble
Typical
he is.
men.
But I was like, man, it's going to be fine. You just get up there and tell your story, and that's what he did.
And the Lord, he's a wonderful orchestrator, honestly, because without being given his testimony, I really don't think that I don't think I'd have been in the mindset that I was that morning. But it was the next Saturday morning, and you can ask my husband, this is literally how it happened, because he was like, what is wrong with you? Are you okay? Because I was hanging up clothes in my closet. Literally just got done doing some laundry, hanging up clothes in my closet. I was just thinking back to Ben's testimony, and I was just thinking, God is awesome. He is awesome. He is such a good father. And literally, as I'm standing there hanging up the clothes, the words just come tumbling out of my mouth. Here I stand in awestruck wonder at the beauty of your love, and I am bowing at the marvel. It just come pouring out of me. And that's how I knew that it was God and that He wanted those words spoken. And I know that song was meant to be. And so just the way it came about was awesome. I'm standing there crying. My husband comes in there, and I'm singing the song, and I go, listen to this. The Lord wrote this song. And I'm just crying and singing the song. And he's like, that's really good. Did you? And I'm like, no, you're not listening to me. The Lord just wrote this song through me.
Yeah.
And but and then I brought it to Tommy, and again, one of the most. It's just I just love how the Lord has us in like one mindset, kind of like in one accord, because I literally brought it to everybody, and Tommy puts one of my favorite verses ever in the song.
Let me add to
Go
that.
ahead.
That's another one of those little snippets that I had in my phone. because she's like, I got the first verse in the chorus, but I need a second verse.
Absolutely.
And you may even have the bridge. I don't
The
remember.
bridge, yeah.
You did.
But
Yeah.
she's like, it needs something else. It needs another
Absolutely.
verse. And this was another one of them 2 or 3 word
Yeah.
phrases.
Absolutely.
Lord, you know me, and still you chose me. That's, to me, that's the most powerful phrase on the whole album.
Absolutely. I agree. And I'm gonna cry. I don't mean
Don't
But-
do it.
I know. But it's very profound, and just the way that I knew that he was pouring this song out of me, and then I brought it to him, and that verse, every time I sing that verse, I cry, because I'm like, Lord, you know me, and still you chose me. You see me, and you do not turn away. You've searched me and called me holy. I will never understand that kind of grace, because I will never understand that kind of grace. I'll never understand how he could love us like that, and how he goes above and beyond to be that God of miracles, to be the one that we run to be the God of our peace in our time of need. And I know that Ben is expecting that miracle in his life, and I'm expecting that miracle in my own life. So I know that not only when we sing this song, or when he wrote this song through us, was it a wonderful song, but I also know that that's a promise
Yep.
from him for a lot of our situations. So I just can't wait for you guys to hear it. I know a lot of you have heard it, but it really means something. It really means a lot. Now that I'm done
Yeah.
crying.
I think that's it, though. I think
Yeah.
we just wanted to share those couple songs with you today, and we are just looking forward to tonight, and we can't wait to see you guys
Yes.
and worship with you.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, us as the worship team, we have had a blast sharing the behind the scenes of some of our songs with you. This does end this series for the podcast for now, but don't worry, stay tuned, because we have so much more content to come. I know the next thing that they will be sharing will be about prison ministry. So make sure you like, share, subscribe everywhere, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, to keep in touch. Thanks.